Welcome to Daddies the Podcast, featuring Eric and Greg. Join them each week as they hang with a new guest to talk about who they are, their why, and the stories that come up along the way. Thank you for being a part of the Daddies community.
I saw, dude, like just super fucking busy. Like you are. Like I saw. Were you recording in like a studio today? Also, did I?
I was recording yesterday.
Okay.
So last night I was in studio. I was doing about 2 hours of voice work for a show called The Meowsons, which is coming out, I believe, January or February next year. Indie project that some people are doing. I thought was really cute. I wanted to jump on it. So I was like, yeah, I'll do it. So had a lot of fun with that yesterday. Got to do my best Keanu.
Oh, nice. Now, a show, Meowsons?
It's going to be, I think it's like a short film. I'm not exactly sure how long it is, but it's an animated show. It's like a I'm assuming it's going to be considered a short film, but it's like between like 15 and 20 minutes, I believe. I'm not sure.
And I watched in preparation for this episode 1 of the Brush Brigade. And then going along with that, the Meowsons. I'm not sure what that's about, but
that one's not child friendly.
Okay, that's what I was going for. Is that those two things combined? You don't strike me, just looking at you, as the type of person that would star in or be it for the Meowsons or something Brush Brigade like. But sounds like Meowsons.
Looks can be deceiving, my friend.
That's
very
right.
deceiving.
Right. That's right.
Never judge a book by its cover. The old school. You know
what? There's probably like 18 Darman clips about that, about never judging a book by its. Let me ask. Okay, so what is the cutoff for a short film?
That's a good question. I'm not.
Is there?
I think it's anything under a half an hour. I think. I could be wrong. You'd have to Google it probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we all have the ability to Google that. So
my favorite thing is at dinner and it's like, oh, I wish that there was some way we could get the answer to this. But, oh, well, I guess we'll never know.
But I mean,
a short film.
Yeah. So after 30 minutes, if that is the number, is it just a movie? Or is it just a full length?
Feature. It's considered a feature. Yeah. It's not even Google's not telling me.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure it's under 30. I'm pretty sure it's considered under 30 minutes or under 45 minutes. Because the short films could be 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 15 minutes. So I'm not exactly sure, to be completely honest with you.
That checks out. I think that I've seen shorts that are 15 minutes long, 20 minutes long. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like the short in every Pixar movie.
That's what I was thinking of. Those are usually like 3, 5 minutes.
Those are the best.
Top tier. That's as good as it gets.
Well, it's good storytelling. You don't need a lot of time to tell a good story.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it. If you can tell a good story, that's the question. It's got to be a good writer telling a good story with good character.
I always take for granted whenever I watch a film, all that goes into the behind the scenes shit. You see the end product and it's fantastic or whatever, but what the writers actually do and the producers and how much time, I don't know. I've been diving into producers and the writers just to see how that works. But I do think a lot of people take for granted or don't even think about how much time and effort goes into that end. And apparently if you're really into directing and producing, it's the bee's tits. Apparently that is, people are all about that. I don't know if you've dabbled in directing and acting.
Yeah. I mean, producing more so than directing. I can direct, but I don't direct. I do producing on certain things. Right now, I'm on screen as well as producing a show called Love Sucks, which is it's myself, Mallory Lewis, and Lamb Chop, and so a bunch of really cool people, and that's for Josh Disney. Yes, that Disney, and not Disney itself, but a Disney. And, we're doing this show and I am a producer on it. And there's a lot that goes into it, but the producers do get taken care of very well at the end of the day. So, to have production credits is always a positive,
Let me ask, as a producer, are you on the creative producing side or just strictly I guess I struggled knowing what a creative producer is versus just a producer,
A producer can do absolutely nothing but have their name on there. That's usually what a lot of producers are. They just have the credit on there, or executive producer. I am in a production role. But I actually do a lot. Like I have had a lot to do with casting because I brought in a lot of names, a lot of friends, who wouldn't necessarily jump on a project unless there was a reason to jump on a project. I've also given a lot of input. I've been in the industry for 46 years. So, I was able to give a lot of input in a lot of different areas. So they do also respect my opinions on the creative side. I don't really want to get too involved in the creative side too. I feel like too many hands, too many cooks spoil the brew. So too many witches spoil the brew. So I think that it's better that I kind of, stay out of that side. But if I feel like something is just not right, or if I feel like my character needs to do something or doesn't need to do something, I will speak up and I'll have something to say about it. More so since I'm in a production role. If I was just an actor on set, like when I was on, Sex and the City for and Just Like That, or if I was, when or Billions on Showtime, I'm going in, I'm just letting them, I'm doing whatever you tell me to do. You tell me what you want me to do, and I'll throw my little, je ne sais quoi on it, and if that works, it works. If not, you'll tell me what else to do. It's, you listen to the directors. So I can't pretend to be a director when they're directing.
That's a good way to get you kicked out.
If you haven't seen, if you guys are Disney guys, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
I like Disney.
The Daddies podcast, I'm assuming you've got Disney
We've
stuff,
got kids,
or you're stuck watching Disney. If you haven't watched, what do you call it, Wonder Man yet, it is such an incredible true story of the industry. It is incredible. You got to watch it. It's not like watching one of the Marvel movies in general, but it is a Marvel movie, Marvel show, but it's not like watching a Marvel show. It's literally stepping into, an actor in the industry and everything that goes on around it. And what we were just talking about getting kicked off set, perfect example of what not to do on set, in the first episode. So
Okay.
Yeah, it's a great show.
So I've heard actually nothing but really good things about it. Eric, it's got isn't it not the man what's his
the Mandarin.
The Mandarin?
Yeah,
like
Ben Kingsley.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So okay, but if you do, say you're just an actor in a production and you start talking shit, is that a conversation where the director's going to pull you to the side and say, hey, what the fuck are you doing? Or is it just all right, just get off the set. We're done with you then. Is there...
What kind of shit are you talking? What do you mean?
If you're just yeah, that... okay.
I mean, that's a loaded question.
Okay, so if you're nah, I don't
Where's
like
my
that.
7 meat tray
I
asked for?
No,
that's
a
crafty.
deep. Yeah.
That's a crafty. You don't have to ask that question. That's there.
Is that always there?
Oh, well, if you're on a real production, yeah.
Okay.
Crafty is phenomenal. Everybody loves crafty. Everybody loves it. There's crafty and catering.
That sounds fucking awesome. But if you're hey, this script, this line isn't landing, right? I don't think this is working. Is that overstepping?
I mean, one, depends on who the hell you are. Depends on how much of a, it really depends on where who you're dealing with, but it wouldn't, if I was to approach that, it wouldn't be this line's not landing. I would say, hey, would you be opposed to letting me try something like this? Would you be opposed of letting me try something a little different for the next take? You know what I mean? And then if they say, well, why do you feel you want to do something different? I might say, well, I kind of think that my character would be kind of going in this kind of direction with whatever is being said, and but you have to use it with kid gloves because they're the ones who either wrote it or they're directing it, and they have an exact idea of what they want. Most directors want you to read what's on the paper. You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean that there's not room for improvisation here and there. And it all comes down to the set you're on and who you are also. I'm sure that some of my buddies can get away with a lot more than what I can get away with. I'm sure that I can get away with a lot more than other people can get away with. I've been on sets where I am the big dog and I can be like, all right, well, I'm not doing that. We're going to do this instead. And I can get away with it, but it's not me being a douche. It's me being like realistic. Like this is not something that I'm capable of doing, or it's something that the character would never do, or I just don't like that.
I like.
I'm not a diva though. Like with the voice work is more so when I'll take liberty, but I'll give them 3 or 4 different options. You know what I mean? If I'm recording without a director, I'll give them 3 or 4 different options to say, here you go. Now take it. If you want something different, I'll go back and do it. But I'll give you my interpretations and what you're asking for. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. I love when an actor or a voice actor knows their character sometimes better than the production. Sam Witwer is a great example of that. He voices some Star Wars characters. He did the guy from Force Unleashed, that Star Killer. I'm a big Star Wars geek, so I'm going to know all these. But then he voiced Maul in the Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels. And who
I know what you're talking about.
Maul just came out, the Shadow Lord or something on Disney Plus.
Right.
So I'm excited for that. And he's still voicing him. But I've seen interviews of him talking about Maul. He's like, no. Because this is Maul's character and he knows all the lore behind it. And for the most part, there's people that are paid to research that stuff. But if you make a great point that outproves what the production knows, you should absolutely take the actor's point of reference.
The production also, you got to understand that the production has a Bible. So the Bible that they go to that will tell you every little bit of everything you need to know about every character, every, story, so they have it right there. So chances are the actor probably doesn't know more than what the production does, but he just knows the character because he's in, he's pretty much is the character.
Right.
And that's a little touchy subject for that because Ray Park is a very good friend of mine. He's going through some trouble right now. And, as I'm sure everybody is aware of.
Yeah.
But what do you call it? Yeah, that's all I'm going to really say about that.
For sure, I feel for him. I don't know exactly what he's going through, but I've seen some stuff, and I hope he's
stuff
doing well.
We don't want to talk about.
No,
fair enough.
But especially on the Daddies podcast. But the new Maul show, I've heard. I literally just saw it. It's got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is never.
I saw that. Yeah.
That's crazy.
I was actually looking to see what the score was or if it was out yet for the Malcolm in the Middle revival series, but it wasn't out yet. But I saw Maul 100% certified fresh, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But let me ask. So voice work. Eric and I tried to dabble in it for all of 30 minutes one night, and
just couldn't do it.
Apparently, right.
Can't read from a script. Can't show inflection. We just can't do it.
Well, and that was the thing. We kept.
You can do it. What do you mean you can't do it? You can do anything you put your mind to.
Listen,
it's just a matter of actually doing it.
If I can't do anything in a quick 30 minutes of trying, I can't do it at all.
Eric's life has been just given up. Yeah, it's just a lot of giving up.
Shame on you, Eric.
I push real light on a lot of doors, and any of those doors that open up, that's my door.
No, you can't push lightly. You got to push hard. Like my mini dachshund wants to get into my daughter's room in the morning. He jumps and he kicks the door open. If he can do that, this tiny little thing, then you can do voice work.
I need the spirit of a dachshund.
We ended up just hiring a voice actress to do it for us, because you know what? I think our issue is, like you were talking about, hey, you record it 4 or 5 different ways, and then they can kind of pick. I think we were recording the lines the same way every time. Like, it just sounds the fucking same every time, but it was because we were recording it the same exact way.
Well, and then we got to an end result, and we showed our wives, and both of them individually said, "That's not it."
Yeah, this
first of all, you never ask the wives. That's rule number 1.
Well,
my wife sat in that room with me while I was doing my work yesterday, because we had 2 of our. I do my main show, the Grindhouse Radio. Then I'm doing the Stanley Presents show with the Stan people, which is coming up soon. And I do Within Brimstone and the Foxy Fox show, and do a couple other things. But we were doing the Within Brimstone and Foxy Fox last night, but I needed to get on with the directors for the Meowsons deal. My wife sat there because she's on the other shows with me. She sat there and 2 hours. And when I was done, I said, "So what did you think? Did I do an all right job?" I wasn't listening. I turned my ears off. You know, what do you mean? What do you
2
mean?
hours.
2
like, hours.
Son of a. But never my engineer was like, "You killed it. You killed it. I loved it, Brim. You killed it." But she's just like, "Oh." But anyway, you never asked the wives. What was the line? What were you trying to cut?
Oh my god!
Our intro,
which
is
the
just
show.
like, it's essentially not these words. Welcome to Daddies the podcast. Come with us as we talk to a new guest every week, and and we just couldn't do it.
And we've recorded it.
That was fine.
Well, and so
because we're just doing it right here. I'm not like reading a piece of paper,
Right.
And so we ended up getting we've become friends with Caitlin Becker, who was Mika with Blippi and Mika, and we ended up just having her record the lines for us because easier.
We'll get good at it one day. We'll push harder. We'll push harder on that door.
Voice acting is not our thing right now, but maybe one day. Maybe one day it will be.
Maybe one day.
I was watching. I think it was Toy Story, as one does 18,000 times when you have kids, and they were showing, like, I guess there was some like behind the scenes stuff, and I guess they used to record like side by side almost. It was like Tom Hanks and Tim Allen were, but now you might not even know who's in the movie or in the show, right? Like, you're just recording.
So you used to be, back in the day, they wanted you in the booth, in the studio, in the booth with your co-stars. So you'd be working off each other, which that energy is fantastic. But, once you've done it once or twice, you could do that from your studio just as well. Because it's a different energy. You know what I'm saying? I like doing both. I really enjoyed being in studio with people and working off them. I did this one deal with oh my god, I can't even remember everybody that was in there. It was people from like all around, VO, from like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Dragon Ball Z and whatever. Like, we were all doing this thing, and I don't even know if I'm allowed to talk about it, but we were all in the studio together, and we just kind of we were in Beyblade studio, whichever hell studio that is in Manhattan. We would go back and forth, and it was just so awesome how it came out. We're like doing the background noises while we're like just trading off doing it. It was just, the energy in the room is just phenomenal. Then you're in your studio and you're kind of by yourself, just throwing out the lines. It's a different energy. You know what I mean? It's completely different energy. It's also different energy when you're dubbing. You know what I mean? If you're sitting and watching, on the screen, and you're, playing along to, it's all different. You know what I mean? But somebody who's seasoned, somebody who's been doing it for a while, can hack all three. And it's nice to have somebody on the other end, but it's second nature now. Everybody's got a setup since COVID, Some people's setups are much better than others. I have the luxury of having the studio. Meanwhile, I'm sitting at my desk in my office rather than being in my studio but you get my drift. People have the setups, and they'll work out of their house. They'll put a studio in their house, and a lot of my friends now have their studios in their homes. They don't have to go into work.
Well, you
then they can live any way they want.
Yeah, you can do, I'm not saying better, but you could do more, which might make it better, like more collaboration. You might not have been able to ever collaborate with this person if you didn't have those home setups. Or you could do something like this and practice and riff and then say, hey, I sent you over a file. Can you work over that? And it's easier than flying out. Both of y'all got to fly to LA or wherever you do the voice recording and then meet up and do something in a limited time. You know, we just have this one day or this 1 week or something. So I feel like it opens windows.
Well, you know, with regular acting, when you're talking, and by the way, in voice acting is a lot harder than acting, because, you know, you have to portray and convey, you know, facial expressions and you know, body language through just your voice. You know, so voice acting is a lot more difficult than acting in general. But acting, you know, there's such a thing called local hire. So I'm in New York. I have my agents in New York. I have my agents in LA. You know, you've got Atlanta and so forth. I can go in and say I'm a local hire for New York because I live here. I can also say I'm a local hire for LA, but I have to fly myself out to LA if I get that gig because if they're looking for local hires only, I'm only going to be able to, you know, they're not going to pay for any of the travel and so forth. Now, then there are other things that I do and I audition for and so forth that they will fly me out, and it doesn't matter where you are. But there is a such thing as, like I said, local hires. So, you know, with voice acting, you don't have to be a local hire. You know what I mean? Because they'll work with you if you're anywhere in the country and you're good at what you're doing. There are some studios that do want you in studio still, but it's not like it was. Like the Teen Titans, when they would do that, they would all be in the studio together originally, and then that was it. And then I believe they all do everything out of their homes now. I don't remember. I haven't spoken to Greg or Kari in a while.
Teen Titans, that's a show that I haven't heard of in a long time.
Oh yeah, and they're still kicking. Greg is off the show now, which was awful. But yeah, like, but they were in studio all at once, and now I think that they either go in separately now or they do it from their home studios. I don't know the whole situation, but yeah, I know that a lot of the companies don't even need you to be in anymore. It's crazy. The COVID changed a lot of things.
Right.
COVID changed a lot of things.
Yeah, I mean, I guess too, like they can now save some money on overhead too. You can start to well, I don't need this space anymore, you know. But you know what we also lost during COVID? 24/7 Walmarts. So
yes,
at least here in Delaware, man, we, you know,
that's crazy.
But yeah, so when you're reading a script and doing voice work, is the script open for interpretation, or does it say like, hey, this person is pissed off right now? Like, do they like stack exclamation points, or is it
depends on what you're getting?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. There are, so the sides themselves, when you're getting the sides, when you're auditioning for something, you know, they'll give you some direction, but not a lot. You kind of have to interpret it for yourself. They're not necessarily saying what kind of a voice. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they'll give you a couple of links to a couple of other characters, and we want somebody that sounds like this or somebody that sounds like that, but they're not, you know, what are you going to do? You're going to copy those voices? You're going to do something on your own? You know, it's really up for interpretation to a certain extent. Then when you're actually reading the script or you're doing everything, it most of the time it'll read the way you're supposed to be reading it, or it'll give you an example of you know, like you said, you know, all caps, you're yelling and then multiple exclamation points, and you know, like you know, there's something there. Like when I was dealing with it, just again because it was last night, just going through the stuff with them last night, I did things like 8 to 20 different ways just to give them a big variety, because the character that I'm doing is like multiple characters but with the same voice, and that's the point of the character. So but you know, slightly different here and there, so I'm giving them all different ideas of, all right, well, we could do this or we could do that. And then they're telling me, can we try it like this? But, go a little slower. Can we try it like this a little bit faster? I love this one, but, let's try this. Because it's all about trying, because you don't know what you're going to get, you know what I mean, with a different recipe. You know what I'm saying? You kind of throw it all together and maybe you get something better than what you already laid down. Mm-hmm. So, they let me do my interpretations and they tell me what they want. And sometimes I nail it with mine. Sometimes I nail it with theirs. Sometimes I don't nail it at all. But, it is what it is.
The what's that? Was it American Psycho? Christian Bale. It was Willem Dafoe was like the detective trying to it was absolutely Christian Bale's character that I think he murdered somebody. And Willem Dafoe, I believe, he would do 3 takes for every scene. One where he acted it out as if he knew it was Christian Bale that did it. One where he was unsure, but, just feeling him out. And one where he was just like, hey, I'm just using you. He said, yeah, I'm sure this guy didn't do it. I just have to ask you some questions. And in the editing room, they mixed it up to make it, I think they used they never did the same thing. Even for one scene, it was like, oh, this little shot was, he knows he did it. And then this one was, he's innocent. So it left the movie feeling very I have no idea if he thinks that he did it or not.
It's good. Well, that's, and that's what my engineer does a lot of stuff with I have the best audio engineer, Alex DePontes. That's my engineer, my personal engineer. And, sometimes when we're doing stuff like for cutting together for video games or whatever, but when we're doing the stuff before we're sending it out, he'll take 3 different lines that I did and take a beginning, a middle, and an end from 3 different styles, and he'll clip it together and make it seamless, and and there you go, and then I'll be able to replicate that if I needed to, because now I know, all right, that I get it. But again, we want to give the best that you can give, just like you said with Willem Dafoe. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I have a sound engineer as well. It's Greg. Greg does all of our sound stuff. Hey, Greg, I'm going to need it to sound. Actually, no, I'm just kidding. Greg is the guy because he's got the ear for that stuff. He's like, A or B, what's better? It sounds exactly.
Should have been able to cut together those intros. Then what's going on?
Well, right. I actually did cut together our outro. So our outro is Eric, and I had to cut together 8 takes.
Right.
But, so I'm curious though, for the nerdiness in me. So when you're recording multiple lines, do you save each file as me saying go fuck yourself, take 1, and then you send 18 files per line, or is it just one giant?
So for the line, usually what we'll do is so the indie people often will send they won't cut, they won't do anything. They'll send one big fat file with everything in a row and just send it, and then the production will do with it whatever they do with it. We usually will cut it up, clean it up, because I like to consider myself a pro. So we'll go in, we'll take out any plosives, you know what I mean, that are in there. We'll make sure everything's clean, nice clean cuts. You're not getting anything else in the background. And we have, I'm endorsed by biodynamic microphones and the headphones, and our whole studio, Zoom, we've got everything. We're endorsed, so we've got the best of the best. I'm blessed with that. So our sound is crisp and beautiful, but he still tidies it up to make sure that everything is great, and then puts it in a line for line. So if it's a hey brother, how you doing, and then it's a blah 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 blah, and then so we'll have each one will be a separate file.
It's fascinating though, because if audio is bad, I can get over shitty video. But if audio is bad, you've immediately lost me. Bye. Yep. I'm out. I am fucking out.
Yeah. I feel you. You're an audiophile. It makes sense.
Yeah, right. And so I noticed that a lot of, when to your point, when the pandemic hit, everyone and their mom created a podcast, which I'm here for. You know what? I love creative outlets, and I do. I think it's fantastic, but some people are just recording into their iPhone, and that's fine too. But
there's a place for everything, kinda.
Yeah, sure. Or you always get the comment, I guess to let anyone have a podcast nowadays.
I love that one. And you know what? The answer is yes, they do.
Yeah, they do.
Surprised.
Anyone can make a podcast, there's, but again, when people stack the shitty audio or shitty audio, or even like really good audio with bad video, I'll watch, because I feel like most people are also consuming podcasts in their car or they're cleaning or they're taking a shit or whatever. I'm not watching the video on YouTube half the time.
Are those the places that you
Those
listen
are the
to
only
podcasts?
3 places you can listen to podcasts, by the way.
You do spend a lot of time on the toilet, Greg, so I guess you've got some time to kill.
But you mentioned Stan Lee. We were talking about Marvel a little bit. So can you tell us? I don't know if you're allowed to talk about the Stan Lee podcast that you're working on or already filmed.
So we're working on it now. Stan was a good friend of mine when he was alive. And I'm the celebrity spokesperson for his foundation, to which I did a lot of stuff with years and years and years ago. And then when he passed away, things kind of slowed down with that for many reasons I don't want to talk about. But I'm sure you probably have an idea if you followed Stan in history. So without going there, the people that own the Stan IP now is Cartoon Studios in the Stan Lee universe, and they were aware of my relationship with Stan, and they also know, Grindhouse Radio, they do like 4 million listeners weekly worldwide. It doesn't hurt to have somebody who had a relationship with Stan and knows what he's doing on air. And I'm a personality, and I'm known, in the industry and in pop culture. So, they reached out and they said, would you be interested in doing the Legacy podcast? We want to continue his pushing his legacy and making sure that people remember him. How do we do this? And the only way to do that is continue to put out content. And I said, yeah, I'm willing to do it. So we dotted the I's and crossed the T's. Finally inked the deal, and it's called Stan Lee Presents, and it's the life and the legacy of Stan. Doesn't have to necessarily be about Stan every episode, but it's how it comes back to him is what matters. Basically, how he still has influence on comics, how he influenced, cinematic works, collectibles, how him and his work influenced collectibles, the whole 9 yards. And I've got a lot of my friends that are going to be joining us on the show. Not every episode, but because we're trying to do like short, digestible, pieces of content. But Charles Martinet, who's was the voice of Mario and Luigi for 30-something years. Charles is going to be on the show. He's going to join us. Kevin Smith is going to be joining us. DMC is going to be joining us. I'm talking to a bunch of other people that are very interested, that are friends of mine, that it just comes down to scheduling. Lloyd Kaufman, if you know who Lloyd Kaufman is from Troma. So Stan and Lloyd actually came up together, and it's funny how the trajectory of both their careers were completely, different. Where Lloyd became who he is, doing the B-movie thing and just going balls to the walls crazy, and then Stan coming up through Marvel and more of a like more of a polished type of a career. And I can tell you this, being friends with both of those legends, being with them in the same room as they're sitting and when they were having conversations back and forth, were just unreal, just unreal. And I talk about that and a lot of other things I have my autobiography is being written right now. I'm more than 3/4 of the way done with it. It's called If They Only Knew. And I do talk about Stan and being with him, being in his office, other things that happened, just it's meant for the book. So I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, no.
I forget what it was.
No. That's
I talk too much.
Quite the
Perfect.
That's quite the. I mean, I feel like to have known someone that single-handedly, or not, but has done so much to make so many people happy. and shaped culture. That's so, I don't even know the word. I mean, rare, one, but like, how cool is that?
He was a tremendous guy. I'm trying not to cry. Real men do cry.
That's right.
But yeah, no, I love that guy. And towards the end when things were going on that again we will not speak of, it was really, really rough for a lot of his friends and hurt the fans too. And but he was a tremendous guy, and I could tell you his energy was unbelievable, top notch energy. I wrote about it, like I said, a bunch of the stuff in the book, interactions and engagement with him, myself, Shatner, with Carrie Fisher, the whole nine yards. Just I'm not giving everything, because some of it's just for me, and other stuff I have that's it's fun loving stories and just interesting stories. And whatever doesn't go into the actual autobiography will go into like a memoirs book, so I've got enough to go around, 46 years in the industry.
So this book is long.
I'm pretty well stocked. I'm pretty well stacked.
Yeah, did I see 1979 Sesame Street? Was that?
Yeah, I started on Sesame Street and Romper Room. That's why I got to show love with my Oscar. And I reconnected with Carol Spinney in the years. I just wrote about it in the autobiography too, but I reunited with him after years at the Great Philadelphia Comic-Con, I believe is what it was. And the promoter at the time, Chris, he said to me, he goes, "Brim, I got a surprise for you." I was like, "What? You got a surprise for me?" I don't know what to think about that. What do you mean you got a surprise for me? He's like, "No, I got a surprise for you. You're going to love it." I was like, "Okay, sounds good." And when I got there and I got in, I found out that, Carol Spinney was going to be there as well. And that we were going to be doing a panel together. So I reunited with Carol. I was a kid when I worked with him on Sesame Street, and the two of us just got to know each other, and we had a friendship, that again, it's like a full circle moment type of a deal. And we got to do that panel. We got close, and I was friendly with him until he passed, So it was quite a thing. I got emotional after that. I had gone to the Museum of Moving Image, and that's in Queens in New York, and they invited me in, and they have a Sesame Street and Muppets, and it's like a big area that they have like old the puppets and Muppets and this and that and the next thing, and they actually had the Big Bird costume that I worked with when I was a kid. So I got emotional about that one. You know what I mean? And he had passed not long before. But it's crazy. And I still have ties with Sesame. One of my good friends is Noel McNeil, and he's Bear from Bear in the Big Blue House. And Noel also is the director of Sesame Street, and I got him on to direct the show that I think I mentioned to you, the Love Sucks show with Lamb Chop and Mallory. Then you've got Tyler Bunch. Tyler is on Muppets and Sesame Street, and the list goes on. But yeah, we're talking. I'm really pushing to do something on Sesame again. Now that it's finally got a home again, we'll see if I can do a guest appearance. That would be a really cool full circle moment. And they know I'm looking. Tyler called me not too long ago and said, "Just so you know, your name came up in a conversation." and they all know that you are here and ready to go. So He's like, "That's a good thing."
Yeah, right. Yeah,
so,
right.
We'll see what happens.
We had Noel's such a nice dude. We had him on back in I think October, November, and he was just so friendly and so adamant about what he does. But we also had on earlier last year Bill Sherman, and I know he does work with the music for Sesame Street, and he said it's such the atmosphere when you get there, it just even though someone is sitting there with their fists rammed up Elmo's ass, it feels like you're like, you become a kid. You become a legitimate child when you're there. So that is on my bucket list of going there at some point in my life before I die and seeing it, because it just sounds like such a cool place to be.
You know, um, I haven't been there since. I thought that I might have a chance to go on when I was getting wardrobe done for Sex and the City. They it was actually at Kaufman Astoria, and I was like, oh, I called Noel, I called the other producers. I was like, hey, I'm actually gonna be there. Love it if I could kind of come through and see the street, you know what I mean? And they had already shut down and everything had been closed. So I couldn't get on set. So the last time I was there was when I was a kid, and it wasn't even there. It was in the city at that time. It was before they moved. So that was. I would love to go back there, but I will tell you, having the opportunity to be on different sets, especially ones that you've seen on TV for years and years and years, is just incredible. It's such a cool opportunity. I was represented on Big Bang Theory for years. So starting on season 7, they have Brimstone memorabilia and stuff all across the show. So when I was in town, signing for one of the conventions, probably either Kamikaze or LA Comic Con or whatever it was, they were like, hey, you want to come to set? You want to come hang out? It's like, absolutely, why not? Yeah. And just to go through the whole thing was just epic. You know what I mean? And the crazy thing is we get to I don't want to tell the whole story because it's in my book, but we get to the guy's apartment, and you guys have watched the show, right?
Yes.
So
yes.
he goes, he leans in, he goes, you want to sit in the seat? I was like, he's like, you want to sit on the couch? I was like, the couch? He goes, yeah. So I looked over, it was covered. I was like, oh, I don't want you to try. He goes, no. You're going to sit on the couch. So he pulls off the thing, and there's the couch. I'm like, oh, all right, the couch.
There
so I go
is.
to sit down. I'm trying to be careful. He goes, no. I go, what? He goes, no, you sit in the spot. I go, oh, but nobody sits in Sheldon's spot.
Yeah,
nobody sits in Sheldon's spot.
That's my spot.
That feels wrong.
Yeah, right.
So I sat in, I did one of these, and I got in the seat and he snapped a couple of pictures of it, and we were laughing about it. It was good times. Got to see my stuff all over the place, which was really cool.
That's cool.
And like that, the feeling of being on that set, just really cool because it's such a big thing in pop culture history. Going to I would be regular at like Talking Dead whenever I'm in town. We would do every year. I would go down and see Chris and his crew for the Talking Dead because I was very involved with Walking Dead. I know half the cast, and I would go down there, and then I became really tight. You'll love this. I became really tight with Mama Hardwick, Chris's mom. We're very. I literally spoke with her yesterday, or the day before. I wished her a happy Easter, and I said one day we'll get our Seder because we spoke. We met originally. We were in the elevator together, and we clicked. And she was telling me because I'm Jewish, and she's like, I always wanted to have a Seder and blah blah blah. I said, I'm gonna have you at a Seder, Mama Hardwick. We're gonna do this, and we're talking. This is like 15 years ago at this point, and I'm like, and we're still. And I said to her, I said, love, we're gonna have that Seder. We're gonna have that Seder. I don't even talk to Chris. I speak to his mom.
Just to his mom.
So. I love her. She is one of the sweetest human beings. But
nice.
We used to go. I'd go there with her, and like I said, the set for Talking Dead was great as well. It's where everything happens. It's what they say in Hamilton, being in the room where it happens. I mean, I've been in the room where it happens on countless occasions, and there is something to be said about that. It's incredible.
I remember AMC in their heyday, right around there, when they had, I think Breaking Bad was still going on, and then they would do, didn't they have an after show for Breaking Bad as well?
They may have did a Talking Bad, right?
Talking Bad.
I believe so.
Or was that Better Call Saul?
Talking Saul, they did.
Yes. Okay. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. But they had just the best TV was coming from AMC for a while.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll admit, I fell off of Walking Dead. It wasn't that it didn't jump, what is it called? Jump the shark necessarily. I just lost interest. And I think it was sometime around The Kingdom. Yeah. It was a long show.
Yeah, it happens. I stayed with it till the end. I was addicted to it. And it was crazy because I didn't even know about the show, and I'm in Atlanta, and I was signing for Wizard World, and we were in an after party, and we're sitting there, and I literally bump backs, and we turn around, and we're introducing ourselves, and hey, I'm Brimstone, and and one of the guests too, and he goes, hey, I'm Norman, yeah, I'm on the show called Walking Dead, and that's how Norm and I became friends.
Cool.
And then what do you call it? We have, I don't see him or speak to him quite as often anymore, but just because schedules don't permit. But for a while, I mean, we saw each other all the time, and sweet Norman Reedus is one of the sweetest cats. Real guy, real nice guy. One of my good friends from the show is Michael Rooker, who's also Yondu in Guardians of the Galaxy and Marvel Universe. Mary Poppins, y'all.
Yup.
Rooker I talk about a lot in my book. Rooker's a very good friend of mine, and his team, Juliet's his agent. Juliet was very, very good to me and took very good care of me when I was, even though I've been coming up for a long time, name value wise, I'm not an A-lister. I'm on the list, but I'm not an A-lister. So, when you're coming up and you're doing, back then we were in the heyday of Comic-Cons and conventions, and, sometimes like when I got on the Wizard World Tour, I had been on X, Y, and Z and wrestling and so forth, but I hadn't done everything that I've done at this point. So, where they would pay for me to do certain events and pay guarantee and travel and lodging, they weren't doing that all the time, and, for Wizard World, but I was on the tour, so I'd be invited. They'd have me set up hey, we'd love to have you as a guest, but we can't bring you in for this one. Juliet, her and her crew, I couch surfed. There's no shame in it. I couch surfed. I did, I paid my dues, just like in wrestling, just like in music, just like in everything. I paid my dues, and, Juliet and her crew were very, very good to me. So it's funny because a lot of people don't realize, how involved I am with all like the major factions, I guess you'd say, in entertainment. I'm very attached to Kevin Smith's View Askew and all those people. I'm the one that got them Juliet as their agent. What do you call it? The Comic Book Men, AMC, and blah blah blah. The Walking Dead people. I'm very, very close to a lot of the Walking Dead people. Star Wars, same thing. What do you call it? Oh my God, the list goes on. Stan Lee, I wasn't just involved with like the people. I was involved with their crews. You know what I mean? And their behind the scenes, like, so it's hard to explain. It's just a quick conversation without giving out the stuff I'm giving in the book.
Right. You're just like in the background, like tugging on some strings, making things happen.
Power Rangers. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Power Rangers. I'm the reason why the Power Rangers and Saban, before Saban sold to not Mattel, to what the hell is it? What's the other toy company?
Hasbro.
Hasbro, thank you. When they sold to Hasbro, before that, I'm the one that was their link to the actors. I'm the one that brought the Power Rangers back to having the actors to having a relationship with the company, because there was a big problem there. And I explain it all in the book. But, Saban, what do you call it? They wound up having a good relationship with the OGs because I brought them there. Uh-huh. I brought them in. Steve Cardenas, which is another one of my good friends. He's the second Red Ranger. Him and Austin St. John's the first one. Both of them very, very close friends of mine. And, Steve was the first one I brought. I brought him in, and it was like he was a god walking into the place. These people had worked for years and had never seen him in person, but they all know everything about him because they needed it for the encyclopedias and this and that. And then he's walking in, like, oh my God, you know what I mean? So, it was like, that was the first step. Then I brought in Walter, I brought in this one, I brought in that one, Jason, David, Frank, so like, I'm the one that made the connection back with the company. And that was tied in from my friend Edgar, who I met through Yuka, who was one of Stan Lee's people. And Edgar is the one who made the vinyls. He made the collectible vinyls of Stan, and he also made the collectible Brimstone vinyls, which are also on The Big Bang Theory. So when you put it all together, you go, oh, okay, now that might not be interesting to some people, but to other people, it's pretty damn interesting how tied in everything is and how I'm kind of behind the scenes of all of it.
No, that's very cool.
And you know what else I gather is that you are fantastic with names. Holy cow. You just named it sounds like you don't talk to all these people. You couldn't
Eric
possibly.
Can't remember anyone's name.
I can't remember anybody's name. So everybody's just, hey, my guy. Hey dude.
You.
Hello, with the face. But you just named off 10 people that you might not have talked to for the last 5 years each, and all of their exact things. So bravo.
I speak to a lot of them a lot more than you'd think. These people have been. There's in entertainment, you've got Hollywood, and then you've got the real friendships and the real connections. And I'm from New York. When I speak, I'm real. You know what I mean? I'm not a BS player. I shoot from the hip. I'm straight away. If we're cool, we're cool. You know what I mean? If I don't like you, I'm gonna let you know. But I'm a real person, and I like to make sure that those relationships are genuine, which is why, when I need something, people jump to help me. I needed the forward for my book, Charles Martinet, boom, no problem, Brim, I got you. I've got, I needed, to have, when I was doing the voice stuff and getting everything together to send out to X, Y, and Z, I sent it to about 15, 20 of my closest friends in VO, and every one of them got back to me and gave me pointers until it was in their minds perfect. You know what I mean? And they wouldn't just do that for anybody, right. And I appreciate that. And I wouldn't just ask, lightly. Like I always say, I understand if you say no, because I know you're busy. Brim, for you, no issue. You know what I mean? Jess Harnell, who you probably know from the Animaniacs and Transformers and a whole bunch of other things, Crash Bandicoot, Jess was like, this, boom, boom, this was great. You should switch this. You should tweak that. He was awesome with it. Charles was awesome with it. Sean Schemmel, one of my close friends. He's from Dragon Ball Z. He's Goku. He gave me he goes, he was the best. Sean goes to me, he goes, listen, Brett, I'm going to tell you, because he's very quirky. I'm going to tell you something. Okay, listen. All right, so everybody's going to tell you how fucking awesome you are. Just so you know, you are, yes, they're going to tell you how awesome you are, but is it, and that's great, and you are, and blah, 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 but this is why it sucks, and this is what you need to fix. And I'm like, I love you, Sean, because that's what helps. That's what helps. Don't gaslight me. Tell me the truth.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's the relationship I have with these people, because they know I'm going to be real with them. They're going to be real with me. Like I said, and it goes on. Veronica Taylor, who was Ash Ketchum, and just the list goes on. All these people are like family to me. So for me, I'm not name dropping. That's not my intention. This is who I deal with on a regular basis. These are my friends. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, and it sounds, having people that are for you, essentially in your corner, supporting you and holding you accountable, and having that group of individuals, I feel like is so, I don't know, powerful, but also how we all survive in a way, having that kind of just that village of people, to support you is fucking huge.
But you know what and just to be clear, I don't ask any of them for anything. I don't ask them to get me on their shows or in their movies or any of that. They come to me sometimes. I've gotten people that will say, hey, I really want you to do this, or like for Greg Sipes, I did his little pilot for a show called Donut Baby. You know what I mean? And him and we did that during COVID. Robert Davi, if you don't know who Robert Davi is, he's from Goonies and Expendables and 007, Robert, was like, goes, Brim, I want you to come down and do, like, absolutely, Robert. I did a cameo in a movie for him. It's because I'm not going to ask them for those favors. If you want me, you'll tell me. You know what I mean? And I'll make my own. I make my own way. It was funny because I actually got the call to do the Daryl Dixon show, and I was waiting for my spot on Walking Dead the whole goddamn time. I was pissed that I didn't get a role. But what do you call it? I wound up getting. I got a call for Daryl Dixon, and it was for the final episode of the first season, and it was when Carol was coming back to the show, and there was this motorcycle guy, and I did the audition for it. They came to me. They were like, "We know that you have a history. We know that that you're involved with a lot of stuff with a lot of cast members. We saw you. The look is perfect. Would you be able to do it?" I was like, absolutely. They're like, well, you got to go to where was it in I forgot where the hell it was, Paris, I think.
Yeah, right.
You have to be in Paris for like 3 weeks. I was like, I can do Paris for 3 weeks. And and everything was good. They're like, you ride a motorcycle, right? I was like,
fuck.
Nope.
Is that a problem?
I thought it was going to be CGI.
I said, do you want me to lie, or do you want me to tell you the truth? My agent's like, you tell me the damn truth. I was like, I don't know. I said, I can. I don't have a license. And they needed the license. So it was funny because the person they chose was awful. And I was on my way back from Comic-Con when it aired. And my wife calls me. She goes, this guy sucks, you freaking kid. And my wife never compliments me on that. So she's like, that should have been you doing this. I was like, yeah.
That's tough.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. Anyway.
I guess I never really
I don't even know how we got into that. But
no. I'm here for it. I never thought about so when individuals are like on productions and they're riding motorcycles or whatever, like you need a legit. I guess it does need to be legit, right? Like you need to. I guess you could. If they're not using a stunt double, I was thinking that they would just use a stunt double.
Right.
That's why I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah, you got a motorcycle guy, right?
Yeah, right. There's a dude.
You can find somebody that has some kind of a shape like me and just go and just use me for everything else.
Yeah, right.
But no, they needed it for the production. They needed to have and they kind of wanted like some kind of a like, can you do a trick? Can you like burn out or what? I'm like, and that's so funny too. Is because my son goes, my son is he's 24, and at the time was obviously younger, but he has a pocket rocket, and he goes, he's like, hey, come on, I'll I'm going to start teaching you, so this way you can get a license and so forth. I'm like, all right, let's do it. So I get on and I go on the thing, and it's this, like this super like fast freaking motorcycle, and then I touch it and I wound up almost falling over because I was trying to stop it and I couldn't stop the damn thing because it's been so long. And I was like, okay, I'm going down, and I ripped my whole goddamn leg open.
Damn.
So yeah. Maybe sometime soon.
The child in me had I've never heard it referred to as a pocket rocket. I thought that was something else. So
yeah, well, it is.
It might also be.
Yeah,
so, but that's just because
it's also like a fast motorcycle.
Yes,
right.
Yes,
for right now, it is a motorcycle.
It's a fast motorcycle. Yes. But I'm going to put that in my repertoire for other things as well.
Tune into Daddies, the podcast after hours, where we're
talking about pocket rockets.
All right, so Brimstone, if so you have an autobiography coming out, is it going to be this year?
Right now, I'm aiming for it to be out this year. I will certainly have it done soon. That's what I've been I kind of been holed up working on that. I've just reached out to a literary agent who had asked for me to query her about it. So we'll see what happens with that. Haven't heard anything back yet, but that doesn't mean anything. They usually take weeks and weeks, if not months, to get back to you. But since I was asked to send the query and the proposal, there might be interest. We'll see. If that's the case, then I will probably be going to a national, international publisher. And there's a pretty big one that was somewhat interested. So we'll see what happens. If not, then I might publish it through Hound. Because I own the publishing company myself. I just don't feel like doing all the work for it. I kind of want somebody else to do the work for me.
Right.
And there's big enough, there's big enough stuff in there. I mean, we're talking about like all the different names that have been mentioned, including like Keanu Reeves and this one and that one, Nichelle Nichols. Like these are people that, they're all in the book,
Sure.
So since it's very big on pop culture and there are a lot of big names involved, there's a good chance that it's going to go to a major publisher, but I'm not going to sit and wait for it because I just want to, I'm going to be 52. I just want to kind of get it done and get it out, and then we'll take it from there. So we'll see. It should be out this year. If I have anything to say about it, it'll be out this year. If I'm publishing it, it'll be out this year. Right. If someone else is publishing it, it might wind up coming out next year, depending on what they're doing.
Is
that a good enough answer?
That is a great answer. And it sounds like there's a little bit of something for everybody in it.
Right.
So I feel like everyone would be able to get down with that. So that's huge, Now what about what is it? Stanley Presents.
Stanley Presents. And that one we're filming it in on the end of May.
Okay.
Once we film that, we're gonna have all the audio and video sent over to the Stanley Universe people. They're gonna do all the film, all the cutting and putting together, and then we're gonna be launching it, so it'll come out once every 2 weeks. We're doing it in advance. So we've got like 12 episodes we're doing on the one day. And then we're going to be filming again another however many months after. It's just going to be easier to handle it that way. That's myself, Kim, and Tom from the Grindhouse Radio. I've got Dana Pereira, who is my partner on the Dirty Little Secrets Club. I have her on this one. She's phenomenal. And then Hazel is actually from she's from Cartoon Studios. She's actually a Stan Lee expert, which is insane. She's the one she handles all of his socials, everything. 30 million followers, mind you. She's responsible for his entire legacy. She had done an interview with him when she was a kid in grade school, and then had the opportunity. She wrote a project on him, then had the opportunity because of the project to interview Stan as a kid, and then she, at the college in her area, she was asked to come in, and she's the one who handled all of his paperwork. Everything was sent to the college, and she was the person who went and got what I'm losing the word here. I can't figure out the word, but when you're getting everything together for like a museum, she went through everything. So she has read every single word that he's ever written. Yeah. All right. So, she is an aficionado of Stan.
Is it a curator? Is that what they do?
Yes, thank you.
Okay,
she curated. Thank you.
That is what they.
It was a brain fart.
But I didn't know that that's what they do. I just know the work.
I thought it was Indiana Jonesing it is what it was.
It
belongs in a museum.
All right. Well, we all learned, and I've learned something new today. So,
she's phenomenal. So when we were having the conversations, she was just going to produce the show. And I was like, Hazel, I think you should just be on the show. Because, at the end of the day, one, she's great personality. And two, she knows more about him than I do. And I knew the man for real. You know what I mean? So I was like, I think that's going to be a good thing.
Yeah.
So she's going to be on the show as well, and we're filming the one day. We're going to do about 8 to 12 episodes, probably about 12, and then we'll do our photo shoots the next day, and then within the next month or so after, it should all start coming out, and then we'll take it from there.
I'm hype on that. I'm really excited for that.
Yeah,
that's going to be fantastic.
I appreciate it. Yeah, was hoping it'll be big. You know.
Well, it sounds
for
like
Stan, not for me.
Sure,
right,
sure.
Of course.
Well, Brimstone, thank you for for joining us and taking the time out of I know how busy you are, so
yes, you are.
We appreciate your time to shoot the shit with us, man.
A lot of fun.
Appreciate you guys having me. Yeah, if anybody wants to check me out, I'm at The Real Brimstone on Instagram. That's where I spend most of my time. And then therealbrimstone.com is my official website. Please don't get it twisted. I do not write anywhere else other than my official social media and my official website. All the morons that are writing and pretending to be me anywhere else, it's not me. Please don't be fooled. That being said, it's sad that happens.
Yeah.
Also,
wait, that wasn't you that asked me for my social?
No, it wasn't.
Damn it.
It wasn't. Also, I know you'd mentioned it at the beginning. But what do you call it? The Brush Brigade. Yes. What do you call it? There's Beazle. I'm the little guy.
Yep.
So yeah, if you guys want to check that out, I know it's the Daddies podcast. So anybody with kids, really, please check out the pilot. It's on YouTube. It's myself, Jason Font, and Kat Sutherland from the Power Rangers. Really cool group of people. And yeah, it should be a lot of fun. And you get to hear me be a little toothpaste character. So it's a lot of fun.
Dental hygiene is important, people. So.
Yes, it is.
It's true. It's true. Don't look at my teeth. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, so it's called the Brush Brigade. Check that out. And I'm on a ton of different things. So if you look, now you know who I am if you didn't know me before.
Thanks for listening to Daddies the Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, drop a review, and give us a like. We'll see you next time.